Morning y'all, 2019, here we go. Hope you all had a good evening last night. I can't wait for 2019 to get started personally. Let me know in the comments down below, what are you looking forward to most in your golfing world, or what do you want to achieve in 2019? Let me know down there. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button if you like the videos, and don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Right, we're going to do another swing today. If we look at today's swing, we got lower body kind of going out from underneath of upper body. Then as that turns, it goes towards the target. When I get a student who turns this way, I know it's going to be a challenging lesson because there's a few things. When you've got someone turning the way this player is doing, they tend to really struggle with strike and club paths. Getting them to change the way they turn is often a challenge because the way they're turning is actually very counterproductive for hitting good shots. Like I don't know any good players who do this movement. So there's good players who might have a strong grip, a weak grip, those kind of inconsistencies, but no good players turn this way because it's kind of, in no way should you end up here, but lots of people do. Let's see if we can get them turning differently. When you do get someone who does make this action turn differently, you do see transformations in their game, but this is a big change. Not easy. Right, ideas number one. So basically his turn is going hips and shoulders. Maybe shafts do matter. Almost turning at the same time with this one kicking out, which gets this kind of spine angle. Now as soon as you start rotating from here, so downswing starts to rotate, everything's going to go that way and around the ball like we see from this player. I'm going to use the shaft for this drill. You could use just your wedge or your club to get the same ideas. And we're going to start with setup. So if I set myself up where I have my hips just slightly kicked this way, my upper body over the ball, look at the angle of this shaft now, see how it's tilting a bit more towards my right foot. Now if everything rotates around this beginning point, there we go, I get your kind of backswing. So we see the shaft going way outside of the right foot, hips have kicked out, feet come up, not fussed about the left foot coming up, right foot kicking out, those not so great. So let's change the setup and also how you turn around that setup position into this. So let's get the right knee, the right hip over the instep of the right foot. Now you get one hand lower than the other on the golf club, so right below left, which should give you a tiny bit of spine tilt this way. So as an exaggeration, leaning back, tiny amount. So hips go slightly forward, upper body tilts slightly back. Now if I turn my spine around this angle, see how the shaft is pointing slightly towards my left foot? So we get this little bit of resistance between hip and shoulders. We get a spine that gets slightly behind the ball, even could be stacked on top, just not kicking out. Now the order of the downswing will make more sense when you start to rotate from here. Hopefully you've got a better chance of hips staying ahead of those shoulders, which might get things a little bit more in sync as you come down into the ball and hopefully not get around it so much for those horrible necky ones. This practice is so much better done in front of a mirror or reflection, seeing this slight hip bump, upper body tilt, then rotate into that right side. So try not to let your hip flung out, so go from beneath you, just let them rotate. Left foot can still come up if it wants. Keep this shaft line inside that right foot. For golfers, this often feels a little bit like doing this. It's so opposite to what you've worked out of the way you should turn that it just blows minds at the start. So trying to hit balls like this at the beginning is nearly impossible for golfers. It's about drilling it in front of a reflection, a mirror, the screen on my camera here, up here. It's about doing that and working that feeling into any kind of golf shots. So if you're going to do it just with your wedge, again, set it on your spine angle, hips slightly forward, get the bottom part of the wedge pointing more down towards your left foot. Practice a couple of turns that way, and then practice swinging, trying to get the feeling of that upper body turning more against those hips and slightly more this way, opposed to, see it's opposite for me, you're going that way. For you to go forward, that needs to change. Next drill we're going to use this. So it's the side of my kitchen, it could be a worktop, it could be a table, it could be anything that you can get your right hip up against. So right hip touching the edge of the worktop here. I'm going to put both hands out in front of me like I'm going to make a golf swing. Remember, you don't want to be tilting this way in this movement, you want a slight tilt away from your target, just a fraction. Both hands out in front of you, like clap them together down in front of you into golf posture position. Keep the left hand down there, turn the right hand up above your back, so you've basically got them in line as much as you can. So you're going to get a shoulder turn, left shoulder goes down, but you're not going to turn, so do your movement. Hip can't push out, so I'm going to push my upper body back towards target. You're this way. If anything, you could do this turn and try and feel you're a little bit more coming over the work surface if your hip stays obviously touching, not bumping out. So that's an exaggeration of how much I'm tilting, but good players will use their spine tilt, so this way, or no tilt at all, to change club paths, to change trajectories. So if I want to hit a high shot, you think it down with his driver, he puts more tilt in and he would be turning more behind it to try and get low point early to hit up on the ball. Being able to control the way you turn your body, if you go this way, so hips stay where they are obviously, behind it, to out in front of it, which could promote more of a low punch style kind of shot, to on top of it, is actually the biggest skill here. You having only one of those turns and the one that creates the most extreme shot, so really low kind of stingers, yeah, not going to be the best way for you to go forwards. This is a great indoor drill to use. So even a fun day out at the beach, look, you can see when Milo throws, he tries to propel something, uses his spine angle, his body turns to try and chuck that ball out with trajectory, or that stone out, that he uses certain angles to create launch and trajectory and power. And if you're not using those angles correctly, even in the golf swing, it's going to make launching that ball with the implement you're using, a lofted club, even harder. Now, things that could complicate this that I see with students, so if you think about Milo throwing that stone, he throws with his right hand and creates those shapes, so it makes sense for him to put the club on that side and be a right-handed golfer and create the same shapes to try and propel that ball forwards. If he was to throw with his left hand, so I see students who throw with their left hand but play golf right-handed, then you see these confusing movements between lower body and upper body. You can't beat them, you've just got to work with them, and then as a coach you have a bit more patience because you think, yeah, you know, that you can see this is just not making sense for them. I feel it in my tennis. I throw with my right hand, but I play tennis left-handed, so when I serve, creating the angles that I would create the throw, which the serve is similar to a throwing action, it gets a little bit complicated for me, and my serve isn't, say, my strongest part of the game. It's about working with what you've got. I think this player definitely can make improvements. I'd love to know if you do actually action any of these changes. Maybe if this is you, post comments down below. Let me know if it's helped or not, because like I say, this is a tough one. See you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Post comments down below as always. Let me know if you're liking the daily vlogs and the swing fixes. If you want to get involved with these are swings coming off my Instagram. Find me at CrossfieldMark. You have to DM me a swing because I can pull it down from there, and maybe you can be involved in tomorrow's swing fix.